Get ready for an exhilarating journey into the boundless world of imagination. Welcome, comic book enthusiasts, to the extraordinary realm of Out of Obscurity. This groundbreaking anthology, published by Arrow Comics, unveils a legion of aspiring creators, each eager to leave their mark on the industry. Prepare to be captivated as they breathe new life into obscure public domain characters, creating their own unique tales within the pages of this awe-inspiring collection. Out of Obscurity is a testament to the unwavering passion and creative prowess of these emerging talents. They have meticulously resurrected forgotten heroes and heroines, spinning intricate yarns that span the ages. Brace yourself for action-packed battles, mind-bending mysteries, and heartwarming triumphs that will transport you to uncharted territories of excitement. By supporting our Fund My Comic campaign, you become an essential part of this historic endeavor. Together, we can catapult these aspiring creators towards their dreams of comic book glory. Join us on this epic odyssey and witness the birth of new legends. Your generous contributions will not only help us bring Out of Obscurity to life, but also grant you access to exclusive rewards, including remarkable artwork, signed copies, and behind-the-scene glimpses. Embrace the spirit of adventure, for within these pages, untold wonders await. Together, let us ignite the spark of greatness within these visionary talents and redefine the landscape of the comic book universe. Be a part of history and make Out of Obscurity a reality.
We got a lot of daring, awesome campaigns on here. Pretty much all of these are by people that we know. Smokes the Fox is here. That's a nice Mike Barron campaign. Mike Barron wrote this. Chrome Dog, happy to see that here.
Did we do it? I guess so. Hey, everybody, welcome.
Hello. Welcome
to the Jankstream. That's what I call it. So here we are.
Yep. Well,
this episode is brought to you by Hikama, Jikama to those who are the uninitiated. But I'm joined today. Of course, I'm Agent Zero, aka Justin K. Sweet. And I'm joined today by T Bunny, otherwise known as Telepathic Bunny. How's it going?
Doing all right. Talking about this great comic. Hoping to get a few more backers before we go out the door. So. Oh yeah, which one? That would be Out of Obscurity.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. The mini that we've got juggling between us. That's the one in particular, I guess. So.
Right.
It is what it is. I think we're both actively campaigning for 3 different ones right now. So
absolutely. And I pinned it in the chat. So
all right.
That one's up there. I've also got in the chat, I've also trying to promote this customizable card game that I've got up there on behalf of a buddy of mine, as well as your comic book, Bunny, community service.
Right.
And so kind of got that queued up for a sec, but I guess we could just, this is really all I care to do is chill stream. So I like to just hang out and chill and talk about whatever.
Sure. So, absolutely.
What's been stuck in your craw lately?
Just I've been working like 6-day weeks on third shift for a little while now, and the sheer exhaustion and the effort that it takes to try to get people to to get on streams and stuff like that has made me wonder if there's another way to do this to pretty much the endless campaigning on streams is I just don't know if that's the most efficient way anymore, besides how much crossover is there, how many times are you pushing your book to the exact same people,
I'm with you 100%. And that's kind of one of the reasons I've been so scarce lately. I mean, the other reason, of course, well, let's put a little pin in that one. We'll come back to it. But one of the reasons I've not really been out there, trying to get on as many shows is because due to the lack of, I don't have much new to show yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not enough new panels and pages that are, ready to kind of view. I do try to show teasers here and there in my on my Twitter, but those don't seem to get much traction either. So I mean, I don't think, I'm kind of with you. I don't think live streams or YouTube on the one hand, maybe we are doing it wrong. The whole live stream model. I think you kind of have to be dedicated to the craft of being a YouTuber. So you have to create shorts and mix that with 10-minute max videos about some content of some some substance to kind of bring the algorithm around kind of to your way. You also want to keep it interesting so you gain those subscribers and etc. Now, so for me, on my side, I guess first I just want to say, like, I agree with you that going on endless streams is not the answer, especially when what it appears to me is a lot of the shows that I went on, I've already got the backers that I'm going to get from those fine folks, and I'm greatly appreciate every single backer I have. And I look forward to even more backers. But at the same time, I would even take it a step further and say, is crowdfunding even the way to go anymore? It's one of those things in indie comics. What I've noticed is that it's up to us to make the book, and we put as much money, time, and effort into it as possible. And we produce the book on our own and then put it out there and then market it once it's complete. I mean, I think that's what everything is pushing us towards.
Right. Well, the old model, if the old model was going to be successful, in the theory, the prevailing theory is if your art is good enough and your curbside is good enough that it's going to sell the book, and that people will back it, based on the promise of a good book. Now, if that is indeed the fact, then you got somebody like Shadowpunk, who I keep saying this. I know people get tired of me saying this, but the guy made a 3D movie, a 9-minute 3D movie, the prequel to his book. Okay, and it looks like a studio did it. Okay, this guy worked on it for 4 years. By himself in obscurity, and it has the trailer on it he created that to go with this movie, but the trailer on it is just incredible. It's also 3D animated, one of the best pieces of 3D animation I've seen, and the book is spectacular. It's unique. It's got a unique palette. It looks like nothing else I've seen. And he's now got a physical copy in his hand, and it looks even better. And so I'm like, that should have sold, according to this old model. That should have sold way better than it did. And just over 6,000.
Okay.
And so if the prevailing theory is if people, this community is big enough that if all you got to do is just get the book in front of them, and if the art's good enough with the meritocracy there, it'll sell itself. If we're truly meritocracy, then how come that book didn't at least go over 10K?
Well, so you're not wrong on the one hand. Like, he definitely has the effort in there, okay? But here's where I think we are failing to see how success is created or generated. So I did a quick and again, one thing I want to point out, and by the way, before we continue, I definitely want to welcome the chat. Hey, Woke Breaker, and Duck Bacon coming in here hot, as he does. He's got his 3 flames there, so thanks for that.
Hey.
Yeah, welcome in. We're discussing.
That's the only kind of bacon I haven't had.
Duck, yeah. There was. I'm trying to remember where we had the discussion. I can't remember. I think it was even in a live stream that, because these two are my, they're kind of always like the auto include. They and I'm so thankful. I'm grateful to you too for showing up whenever I live stream. I mean, there's so many choices right now, so appreciate it. But as we were saying, I think that what we're missing is taking the time and effort to kind of generate the audience first. And so when you look at someone like Eric July, right? This guy has been a YouTuber since he was 16 years old, all the way back in the aughts, right? So I think he started in like 2006 or so. Yeah. And he's been building his audience since then. And his audience, a lot of them, the diehards, have followed him through all the different interests and everything that he's kind of thrown at him, and they're with him. And so when he was discussing creating his own comic book company, he decided, he kind of put it out there and says, hey, I'm going to do this. And that 10% rule actually like hit, because they say that 10% of your audience, or 10% of your readership, or your your regular consumer is going to pursue or back you in whatever it is that you're doing. And that's exactly what happened. He had over I think it's 400K subscribers, and he had 40,000 people show up. So and I was one of them for ISOM #1. I mean, that was an auto include for me, because I've been following him for a number of years, and he was great inspiration for me to even enter this space. So hats off certainly to him, and I've given credit all the time. I can't give enough credit there. But the thing is the audience was already there, and the people that are already there, they're grok with you, man. They're gonna like stay with you, and so you're kind of like in at that point, right? But no matter how much time and effort we put into this stuff, if we don't have the people with us, and here, let me see if I can. I guess I could do this. Bear with me, folks. I don't do this enough to be as familiar as I should be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and screen share, because I want to show this off. I did a quick search, and again, but this is by no means this is just a conversation that Bunny and I are having. We're not sitting here, we're not calling anybody out or anything. We're just trying to diagnose issues and potentially bring up solutions. So what I see here is Shadowpunk. He's got 88 subscribers, 24 videos, right? Yeah. And so which is great. I mean, it's better than I've got, right? I've got a fraction of that in both camps, both in subscriber count, because I think I'm at like 59, and then I've got less videos. But that's the thing is, essentially if we follow the 10%, what is that, 8? eight backers.
Mm-hmm.
My math is just terrible.
Yeah.
And so, we can kind of look at that at both of ours to kind of see where that would lie. So, I mean, he certainly is blessed to have the 6,000 or so, ever how much he's raised for the book. Has he fulfilled yet? Do you know?
He's probably about a month away from fulfilling.
Okay.
I think he's doing a pre-press, right? He's got a book in his hand, but I think he's going through final edits for the printer.
Yeah, and just looking at this, he's probably already kind of seen the writing on the wall like us, right? Because it looks like he hasn't streamed for 4 months, which, I mean, that sounds like me. It hasn't been 4 months, but it's been a while. And the last videos he made was like a year ago, I guess. He made some shorts at some point. Doesn't really show when the shorts were, when they were. But again, we're not, I certainly don't want to take this off because I don't want to, I don't want it to seem like we're picking on anybody here. By any
my premise, the premise that I'm making is okay. That model of you have to build your fan base first, and then bring them along into your project. Okay,
right.
But the thing that intrigues me is when I see this hunger out here, and the normies are throwing money around right now. If somebody catches their eye that looks like genuine in any way, shape, or form, they are showing that they're ready to line up and fund it. Okay. The 3 examples that I gave earlier, Tom McDonald, completely, totally outside the mainstream, but yes, he's got the Hangover Gang, and they're pretty huge and they're pretty active, right? But he decided to take on the pop the pop charts, which is a way bigger ecosystem. Okay, right. And so he puts his song out with just him and his girlfriend's relationship. He has just him and her just dancing around each other, being goofy. Brings his parents in at some point, to show like the older version of them, and it's a really cool, catchy song. But he's not a singer, and he doesn't pretend to be. But this song managed to dethrone Taylor Swift and Sam Smith off of the pop charts over Christmas, and and so guy completely outside of the system, completely outside of the mainstream. He turns down record deals all the time. Okay.
Well, yeah.
And that's one example. All right. Another example would be Sound of Freedom. Okay. Let's look at the bona fides on this movie. It was made on a shoestring budget, which is $14 million. That's a shoestring budget for a major Hollywood production. You can't tell because they got a lot of quality for that $14 million. Mostly because they've spent it in South America. That's where they shot most of it. But anyway, but the 20th Century Fox was supposed to distribute it, but 20th Century Fox got eaten by the mouse.
Right.
And the mouse sat on this movie for, I think it was 5 years. Okay. Mm-hmm. And they literally had to crowdfund to buy it back from the mouse to get the rights to put it out. But they couldn't find a streaming service. They couldn't find a distributor. But this one small studio, one of the newest in the game, it's a Christian-based studio called Angel Studios, just said that they'll take it on. But they want to release it over the 4th, which is insane, okay? Because this will be the second week of Indiana Jones and whatever, the Dial of whatever. Indiana Jones 5. Which was supposed to be a massive tentpole. The movie is probably made for nearly $500 million. Maybe it's really high up there. And they put it out against it on the 4th of July with I think it was less than half of the studios, or half of the theater screens,
Mhm.
and took the #1 spot.
Yep.
Okay. So that, and basically off of word of mouth, and just ad space on the internet. They
Yep.
didn't really have a marketing budget, but people saw these advertisements and they're like, "Who? What's that? What's that?" And so the movie looked like something they needed to support. So people came out in droves and they supported it, right?
Right.
And to date, that movie's made well over 100 million. I think it's. I didn't check the numbers. I should have, but yeah, it's definitely going to run away with the most profitable film this year. Okay, completely outside of the studio, outside of the system, completely
Correct.
outside.
Correct.
Okay, now the third one is Mr. Chris Lunsford, otherwise known as Oliver Anthony, and that's the recent one. Guy's in his backyard somewhere with a resonator guitar, singing his heart out. Expects 300 people maybe to see it, hoping for 300 people to see it.
Right.
And he's got 10 songs in the top 25 of all iTunes as of today.
That's cool.
10 songs in the top 25 of iTunes.
Yeah.
And I think in the top 10 he's got about 4. So
that's awesome.
So this is a guy completely out of nowhere, not connected to the system in any way, shape, or form. Doesn't have the oomph behind it.
The connections, as it were.
Yeah, doesn't have the connections, doesn't have the marketing push.
Right.
It's just completely word of mouth. This is just authenticity, and people are begging for authenticity right now. And so my contention is that's who we should be aiming for. That's we got to figure out how to tap that.
Well, here's where we kind of kneecap ourselves in a way, Bunny. The medium that we've chosen, it takes a long time to produce. I mean, an extremely long time. It would take me less time to sit down and just bang out a Chrome Dog novel than it takes for my artist, my colorist, and my letterer to take my script and turn it into a comic book.
Yeah.
And I mean that's a fact. That's a cold hard fact of reality here. And the more pages I add to it, the longer it's going to take. And that's something that hopefully people have kind of realized when they make adding pages a stretch goal. It's like, you don't know what you're asking for, buddy. But for me, if writing is the most important part, and art is secondary. Okay. Now I know people are going to disagree. And I mean, even I kind of disagree with myself in a sense. If I can at least tell the story in panel form and get it up and get at it, even if it's rough, you know what I mean? Like, so that people can actually see where I'm going with it, potentially give them kind of hope for what I'm working on, just to kind of be able to show them, hey, this is where I'm at, this is where I'm going. Maybe they'll be more apt to go along with me for the journey, so that they can get me to the finish line. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I think choosing to kind of seek other avenues beyond just YouTube, and maybe incorporating YouTube a little bit as well. But like what I have here on the screen, I've decided to kind of make, play with the idea of going over to Substack. And the people in our space, they probably take one look at this and like, why, what is Substack? What is this? This is a, website for people who like to read or, like to write, right?
Yeah. Well, Vaughn's got one, very, very successful one.
Does he?
Yeah.
Well, I need to follow him because I've been, there are some creators that have come over here that I don't really want to follow, so I don't. Let me see. So you say, here, we'll do this in real time. So what, Von Klaus, I guess? Just probably look it up that way.
It'd either be Von Klaus or Rise Again.
Oh, right. By the way, Woke Breaker, you're asking about how's Fund My Comic going. It's going pretty good. I mean, especially for a lot of the folks that, Bunny and I are sitting here talking about who have brought their own, um, their own audience to kind of, go there to back them. People like, trying to think, we've got, was it
Try Rise
Mike?
Again Comics.
Okay. Mike Barron, we got Mike Barron, we got Kelsey, Kelsey Shannon going on there. These folks are, they're seeing success because, they've got, wait, why I typed Mike Barron? That's hilarious because I said it. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, anyway, I'll find it at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why it's not throwing it at me. I guess it's because I'm not holding my mouth right, but I believe you, Bunny. I'm pretty sure he does have a successful one. But the thing that I'm trying to do here, right? So I'm using my mailing list. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So my mailing list, I started with 100. Okay, here's the thing. I started with 121 subscribers. As soon as I sent my first post the other day, I had 2 drop off, not from my mailing list, but from opting in essentially to receive these.
Mm-hmm.
And then I gained a couple back, so that kind of helped, or a few back. And then I've had, in the past few days, I've had 130 views of my article that I've written. So, I've got, an open rate of, roughly half. So, I mean, it's kind of cool to see that. And to me, I find it encouraging. And hopefully, I've got, what's kind of neat is you can set, like I have a scheduled post. Here's a little quick preview here. Which, by the way, I think the Woke Breaker actually subscribed to me. So thanks, Woke. Appreciate that. But yeah, so, I've got it scheduled for tomorrow. So it's going to go up tomorrow. I wrote it yesterday. And so I'm going to try my best to keep up with like a weekly post. And right now the model is for me to, give my take, like a short form essay take on whatever thing it is. And then after that, I'll have a little blurb about something going on in the world of Epsilon City, or or Wrinkle, my universe. And so I'm just kind of going that route. And I'm keeping it, I've opened it up for people to subscribe, as in, be a paid subscription, but right now there's no benefit to that. And what I'm thinking of trying to do is put comic book content, actual like finished pages, maybe comic strip type stuff behind it. And I was thinking a quarterly actual print comic that I would send out to people who do subscribe at that level, and make a go of it that way. And so that's at least I'm trying to come up with a more creative way to get myself moving. I've got Kevin McDougall. He's kind of on the line to be able to help me write this next or produce this next book that's non-Chrome Dog. It's going to be my Epsilon City story stuff, and hopefully we'll see something there, and that I think will then help get the word out about Chrome Dog. And so it eventually I'll just have my own following, whether I YouTube or not. And so but I don't know, I'm just kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall at this point. So
no, we all are.
This is my spaghetti.
Well, I mean, that's why I'm asking these questions, though, is and from the amount of people that came on yesterday and that were interested in the topic, I've hit a nerve. I think more than one. I think there's multiple people probably feel that that this the way things have been up till now is going away, and so we're going to need to find something. We're going to have to find something else, and I think it's important to start asking those questions.
True, for sure.
Mm.
I just want to put this on here and just we'll watch Luke as we talk.
Oh, okay. No problem.
This is him drawing some Chrome Dog pages.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Well, I mean, but if you don't ask the questions, then you don't look for doors. You know, you don't look for answers to the problem. So the problem is that right now you have to start out with resources. You have to start out with a name, some kind of recognition, and to build it from ground up is not the pathway it used to be. You know, the pathway that Michael Bancroft followed, Lord Crackhead and those guys. Because of the proliferation of streams, it's that is not like I don't think that's available anymore, just because of the watering down of the fan base. You know, so many of the fans have now got their own shows. Most of the people that show up in my chat, I know have shows because I follow some of their shows, and so that model of getting that big, you know, get your big fan base, get your people watching you, and you know, if you're coming fresh out of the mainstream, you know, or your name's on a byline on a big two book or some recognizable artist, and you start I mean, freaking Del Keon took a nap on the stream and wound up with over 1,000 subs.
Yeah,
that happened.
Yeah, I know.
He fell asleep on the stream, and over 1,000 people subbed to watching this man snore.
I mean,
okay,
that's pretty cool.
Well, if you're an artist, you know, and you have some kind of notoriety, then you can do that. I mean, it's as easy as falling off a log. And I think that model that Malin pushes and that Rob kind of like pushed with his PDF, I think that model is kind of, you know, it's if this is true, then this,
right?
And I don't think this over here, the cornerstone of that model is true anymore. And so the only other option is, you know, since people can't build their shows to, you know, to that degree anymore because of the proliferation in this community, which is relatively small,
right?
You know, because of that, then the only other option is to go on endless shows, you know. And if you're running your own channel, then that you either have to shut your channel down and walk away from it, or, you know, you can't go on endless shows. And plus, you know, if you got something else going on in your life that this allows you to have the energy or the time, then you're up shit creek with the old model.
And and I would even say, you know, what time do you have left to create, right? Like what time and energy do you have left to actually make the thing?
Yeah, exactly. And you still got to create the thing, you know?
Yeah.
And and so I think that while that model is still true for those guys. I mean, if somebody like, I don't know, I don't even know a mainstream artist right now, but if somebody from mainstream walked out today with their fingers in the air and came into this community, they could have 3,000 subs by tomorrow. All they would have to do is show up on Ethan's stream, declare Comicsgate. I mean, that literally happened with Gabe El Taib. He came into the community, you know, and the next day, the guy had over 3,000 subs, and didn't go on any other shows. You know, only went on CG Kings, only went on big shows. You know, was a pretty much, you know, a dick to everybody that dealt with him, and but he went over 3,000 right out of the box because he came fresh out of the mainstream. He did I think he was on Fox News or somebody, and so boom, 3,000 subs, right? Didn't have any effort, didn't he didn't sweat it at all. Boom, 3,000 subs, and was on the biggest shows in CG, and he put out this he said that anybody can write, we don't need writers anymore. And then about 4 months later, he announced this comic book, and people backed it to 6 figures. And
yeah, I kind of have to plead the fifth when it comes to Gabe. Doug Bacon says Gabe was a pro artist from DC, and that's true. He was a colorist specifically. I don't know how much he was allowed to draw. I think he did some, and that was ultimately one of the reasons why he left, because he got, frankly, from what I understand in his testimony, he got tired of having to go back and fix things that weren't necessarily actually wrong, but it was all in the spirit of political correctness, and he was being persecuted for that. Which, I get that. Shoot, we've heard the story.
Oh yeah. I backed him, man. I was one of those subscribers, man.
Were you?
Yeah.
So you backed him on the Truth, Justice, American Way?
I didn't back the comic, no, because because he went on Graham Nolan and decried writing, said that writers are useless. We don't need writers. Anybody can write. And so he lost me right there.
Well, so yeah, we figured that, Bunny. We figured that. Anytime anyone says anything bad about writers, it's like, oh, Bunny's like, yep, I'm out.
I'm out. F you, I'm out, man.
That's the thing, right? On the one hand, and again,
they don't understand. Even if you're a savant, even if you're gifted, out of the box, you still have a lot of bad writing to get through before you get something good. It's just part of the process.
100%. Just like it. Well, and to that point, and I have to, I don't mean to cut you off, but I just want to dial in on that a little bit, right? These artists assume that just because we're not drawing fancy pictures, and I don't mean to be, nasty about that, but I'm just saying in the way that they're thinking.
Yeah.
Because we can't draw fancy pictures right now, right? And all we're doing is writing these stories that, it doesn't take a certain level of skill. It doesn't take a certain level of ability. It doesn't take a certain level of practice to get us to where we are in that. Just like it's right. That's the other thing. It's like, no artist. I'm sorry, Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo, but or was it Bernelli? Like Rembrandt, none of them. No one started like with perfection. They had to strive to get there.
Jack King Kirby said that you have to draw about 100 pages of bad stuff before you start getting good.
That's it.
And it's the same with writing. That's why I didn't back at ISOM, is because this dude is learning on the job. Okay. And he's learning on the job.
Okay. All right.
I'm not going to back that. Right? So I'm like,
So I hear you, man. I do.
Yeah.
For me, I backed him. He was an insta back just because I believe in what he's doing.
Right.
And regardless of how it was going to turn out, which I honestly didn't have a problem with the ISOM #1.
I've heard 2 is improved because he listened to people, and he actually must have had some writers to look over it.
Sure.
Because I was told that it's greatly improved from the first one, and so I give him all the credit for that. And he did hire Chuck Dixon for one of his books. So
well, and the Saska sisters, which right. not typically my my thing, horror, that genre that they're used to doing, is not really my thing, but at the same time, they're very enthusiastic, and I'm interested to see what comes of it. But at the same time, I've only got so much money I can spend. So unfortunately, I have not backed ISOM #2. I'm busy. If I could flex a little bit, I'm busy, catching up on certain creators here. Okay, this is like the last authorization I had to back a book, because everything else has to go into ChromeDog. So I've got some others that I backed prior, like Blood Hunters, the Wraith of God, because to me, like that's the one that I'm always going to back. That and anything hybrids, like those two for sure. Like Lepresti, he's got my money.
Well, even his first book, even though he's done, you could tell he's done writing before, but you could tell that he was a little rusty, but in early pages, but it's like the people got to understand that it's a hybrid art form. It's hybrid art form. It's not, I've heard it's a visual medium. Yes, in a way it is a visual medium, but it's a hybrid art form. That's you got to get the right words, and to get those images right, you got to get somebody's got to write the script to get the images right.
That's true. But, real quick, Frost Comics, aka Jared Bricky, dropping in to say hello and say how awesome the O3 ride has been with you guys. Well, we appreciate you being along for it. Hopefully, we can push that project past where it is right now, which I want to say it's like right there at let me do this, pop this in. Okay, real quick. Before we get into O3, I just want to shout out to your book, Community Service, Escape from Little Big Escape from Little Big Horn Preambles. So, and we got American Bliss here. Very cool stuff. What is that?
Pal Rodriguez.
The name sounds familiar to me.
Yeah, he's the main artist on Perfect 10.
Oh, nice. Okay. Sweet.
Yeah.
Old Ironsides. Yeah. I love this gift, by the way.
Oh, appreciate it.
That's pretty slick. I need to come up with something like that myself.
Yeah.
That's neat. Is this original art in your book, or is this a separate
that is going to be part of the FERE files.
Okay. Man, you don't know it, but you're stealing some of my thunder. So it'll be interesting to see what this guy. I think this guy and this guy, they're the same guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've got a character in my world called Feldspar that he's got a similar power, similar, not the same, but he definitely has some.
Well, I had to change the name because it turned out that Dojo Kun had a similarly named guy. So.
Oh, well, what's his name? Can you tell? Can you share?
Well, his original name was going to be Brickhouse Brown.
Okay.
But it turns out that Dojo had a character named Brickhouse. So I changed his name to Obsidian Man.
Oh, okay.
Dom Minion, the Obsidian Man. So
Dom Minion. Cool. Yeah. Dominic Minion.
There you go. That's the name, yeah.
So I'm still trying to. Okay, I was looking at like this. So he comes over here, and then. So when I first saw this page, I thought that all the water fled away, but I realize that now. Like he drops him off, and then he walks over, and then he witnesses. He sees this stuff. This epicenter here. That's cool.
Yeah, that's the Little Bighorn. It's basically they're going to turn it into a kill box and put those people in it, and Ironside's just got to try to get them out.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Well, hopefully he can do it and get it done and save as many people as possible.
Frost Comics says there's going to be a super guy Ironsides cover coming someday, not too future probably.
Now that would be kind of fun, especially if like maybe Ironsides is like in the same supermarket or something,
right?
Or maybe it's a convenience store kind of thing. He's just coming out for maybe at a tobacco shop, getting some pipe tobacco, and
Right.
I don't know. I'm just making it up.
Yeah.
I don't know if I told you about. I can't remember where I brought it up. That's the thing about these shows, right? We have these conversations and we talk to so many people about so many different things, and we say the same things, or we say so. But I'm envious of you guys for having like these two characters here could not exist in my universe, because there's no such thing as America in my universe. So it's like I have to, I'll have to like develop my own sense of patriotism in order to have a patriotic style character.
Yeah.
And so, hats off to y'all, man. I kind of, kneecap myself in that regard, which, I mean, I don't see it as a big problem, but it is kind of, it brings its own challenges when you set your world so far away and so far into the future. But it's okay.
But mine's an alternate dimension, but
Gotcha.
it's right next door. So
yeah, but he still has the Valley Forge, style flag going on in his,
right,
in his accoutrement here. Yeah.
It's definitely patriotic, no doubt. So unabashedly, unashamedly so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah. So what do we got? Where are we at here? We got, okay, so you got $1,161, 31 days to go, 23%.
Yeah, one month out. Yeah.
And you are all or nothing. So this is it's time to put up or shut up, right? Telling everybody, hey, come on in, man. This is
right.
your time to back the bunny.
Well, so right now I've got some I got like a new cover that I'm about that is being worked on right now. I've got some new art to introduce some characters that you guys haven't seen before, and so I've got some tricks still left up my sleeve, but what I'm doing right now is I'm looking at some alternative pathways. Unless I get on the big shows at this point, it's not going to really help me, and so I'm looking at a different direction.
Sure.
So I think my biggest audience is out among the normies. If I can get the normies to see my character, I think I could resonate with people. But
have you considered putting his story into novel form or novella form to kind of tap into the a more standard reader?
Yeah, it's his got definitely is one of the short stories that's going to be in the FERA files. But
yes.
Yeah, it's got it's going to have like stories, mini stories for the characters and everybody. It's going to be stories in there. So among the different things.
Neat.
But cool. Yeah, we'll we'll see where I am in a month. So
yeah. Well, so while we're here and we're talking about campaigns, let's see if we can't punch up some let's see. Get out of the parallax mode.
Out of obscurity. Yeah.
Yeah, I probably should do that first.
There it is.
All right, so here's so yeah, this is our campaign, our shared campaign. There's I guess 7 of us creative teams on this book. not counting Luke and the wonderful Randy Zimmerman, which is essentially Arrow Comics's Stan Lee pastiche, even though that's not really fair, because I think Randy is a much nicer gentleman who is willing to give more credit in many ways than Stan ever could. So,
yeah, and he's going to write an eighth story for this Out of Obscurity. So
now but we've got to get to this $2,400 mark to get there, right? Or was that already going to be kind of?
That was our stretch goal. I mean, that was our funding goal.
Oh, okay, sweet.
Yeah. So
shows what I know. here's my my entry into this soiree, but yeah, it sounds like you guys know more about that stuff than I do. That I'm embarrassed.
Well, you
hey, but I got a T-shirt. I got a backer backed my artist Kevin McDougall his image of he did a pinup image of Bronze Terror, so that's not for nothing. But anyway, so you're saying, okay, so Randy's gonna be doing a backup story. Do we know who it like what it is?
Yeah. I can't remember what it is. I think it was something like something that you'd know. I think it was something like Tarzan or something like that.
Neat. Well, I know he's been working hard on creating these Spank the Monkey, which is essentially his his claim to fame character. It's kind of the mascot for Arrow Comics at this point. And so we have one here that's the original like Daredevil. Of course,
you might be right. You might be right. We might not be at that goal yet.
But I know he is creating different images. So far I've seen one for and I don't know if I'm supposed to tell you about this. I don't know if he shared it with you, but he's done one for your hero. So we get to see a Ghost Rider version of Spank the Monkey, and then we've got a Korak version, which I think is like the ultimate irony, because here he is, a fellow primate dressed like a guy.
Well, it's called Lord of the Apes, so
Snake, well, I mean, to be fair, monkeys are not apes, but they're at least related.
Primates, they're primates.
Allegedly.
Right.
So, but yeah, it'll be interesting what he does with some of these others, and if he does. I mean, I certainly, he's our editor, or editor in chief, if you will, at Arrow Comics. Luke, of course, is the editor for this particular book, but
yeah, you're right. We're not at that stretch goal. So
I wish, like, if we can get there, we've got less than 24 hours to get $1,000. I think it's doable. Matter of fact, hey everybody, let me say this: we received at least a couple backers since I checked it before the stream. So thanks. Okay. Yeah, we were at $14.98 on the money earlier. So we either, and I want to say it was 39 backers at the time. So yeah, thanks a lot, folks. It's cool. But we got these T-shirts. Sorry, I guess we'll go through the little rewards here. We got $10 for the digital copy, which is it's a bargain. And as always, it's free shipping, or at least it better be. No rip-averse shenanigans here. Just kidding, folks. That was a mistake. They refunded people that were erroneously charged shipping. And then so we come back over to so we got $25 on the physical copy. Make sure you guys use ship to when backing multiple items, so you can save on that shipping. And please only do it when you're backing multiple items. We really like it. We need every dollar we can get. Pretty please, sugar on top. We've got T-shirt, so you can choose a size, a color of the Out of Obscurity logo.
I got one of those coming.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I thought about buying one of these shirts. I don't know, but like I said, go right back to what I said earlier about, I'm on a moratorium from spending. I'm trying not to spend much because I'm trying to, man, can I just pause for a second and express how expensive metal can be when you have to put in an order for different metal bits? I mean, it's one thing to have it as a reward on your campaign, but it's another to have it as a stretch goal. I should have done my homework just a little bit closer, but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, I was thinking of doing a metal badge, but then I decided to just go with a cloth.
Yeah. Now I will say, oh gosh, all right, Creators Outlet, who let you in here? Calling us nerds. He's calling us out. That's fine. I'm a nerd. Hey, did you hear about my Substack? Mm-hmm. I'm a word nerd. What can I say? Joker fan, Mr. Joker fan himself. All right, so we got so Bronze Tear t-shirt, which that's a personal fave of mine. And then now this is something that's unique to this campaign, and I haven't seen anyone else do it. Luke was the one that had the idea to bring on some artists that are either associated with the campaign. In the case of Luke, both Luke and Kevin, associated. Substack and crack. What? You must be smoking crack. I'm just kidding. All right. Anyway, but yeah. So Kevin over here, having a commission associated with the campaign, a portion of the proceeds. We don't really break it down here, but it comes down to comes to be about let's see. I want to say, I think it's $50 goes to the campaign, and then the remainder of this amount goes to the artist. Which knowing Luke, probably all of his would go into the production of this book. But I would hope that he keeps some for himself. I mean, he works hard enough for it. But with Kevin, we kind of brought him on to get him some commissions going. We've got Don Edwards, which I mean, he's a hoot on Twitter for sure, or X as they say. And he voluntarily did this piece of Chrome Dog artwork, which is just crazy. And then Shay, Red Valkyrie, I know she's had a tough time here lately, and so I kind of reached out to her to see if she wanted to be part of this. So you can get a commission from her, which her style is a little bit different. These others are pen and ink in a certain size. I want to say I think it's supposed to be 11 by 17 on these, but hers is 10 by 14, and she does this gouache style. So it's almost like a watercolor-ish kind of French thing. So very cool. Like I'm imagining some of my characters rendered in this way. So, but just so if anybody out there, if you guys can find it in your budget, I mean, shoot, all we would need is fill up all these commissions, and dude, we got it. Just give Shay her 3 commissions, get Don Edwards his 3 commissions, and get Kevin his 3, and then boom, we are over that $2,400 mark, and then then we get to have that Randy story. So how cool is that?
Yep.
Creators Outlet says always pay your artist. Yes, always pay them. Do you need money? Like, did someone not pay you, Creators Outlet, or are you a writer? I forget.
He's not. He's just a consumer. He's not a writer or an artist. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, he had me on the show, but I didn't remember if he created or like what else he did beyond be such a smashingly awesome individual for opening his door to us. Have you been on his show yet?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've been on it.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. I'm trying to remember his name. I'm terrible with names. I don't know if he's another Aaron. No, happened to an artist friend. Yeah, man, I tell you, that's the thing. Unless you've already got an established relationship with an artist, the going, for all you indie creators out there, and I'm speaking for the ones who, like myself that pay other artists to do the work for me, half up front, like just give them half up front, and then if they produce the work to your satisfaction, you pay them the rest, and then they deliver you the goods. But always make sure you keep those lines of communication open with each other. Just the one thing you don't want to do is give them all up front and expect them to get it done, either ever or quickly.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's a big digression, huh?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, there's some horror stories out there. Here. There are some horror stories, though.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what is not a horror story, and I'll see if I don't know how clear this will be, but this is my character. Let me see if I can zoom in on me. Yeah, there we go. So this is my character, the closer, and this is actually his final. I just haven't colored it yet, but this was done by Kevin, my artist. My other artist, I should say. I mean, Luke is obviously my artist for Chrome Dog, but Kevin and I are going to be working pretty close on the Epsilon City Tail stuff. But yeah, he did this turnaround sketch for me. I on purpose, I wanted it to be line art only, so that I could play around with colors and shading and all kinds of fun stuff. Because for now, I'm just a writer. I am a fledgling artist, so we'll see how that goes, and who knows. I'm actually considering making my what do you call it, the Substack be my journey, kind of to catalog what I'm doing and what I'm thinking as I'm creating comics from my own point of view, whether it's showing my layout process as I'm learning it, showing pictures of the things that I'm deriving inspiration from.
Yeah, I started out trying to teach myself to draw, but then I realized that I just for what I needed to do, I wasn't going to get there in time. So, but yeah, I started out kind of like teaching myself. But
yeah. I mean, and that's important. I mean, especially to know the process, or at least I think Mike Barron said.
I kind of, if I was going to ask an artist to do something, I kind of wanted to know what I was asking for. So,
hey, I wish I kind of had that foresight in a way. I just kind of trusted their judgment on a lot of that stuff. And so far, I mean, barring some issues with certain colorists, I haven't had any trouble with artists that I've worked with. But
the initials T3.
No.
He would
no. He
you were one of the ones. Okay. All right.
No, not at all. Fortunately, I think he that individual did enough, I guess. But no, that had nothing to do with me.
Oh, okay.
In that regard. But yeah. Let's see. Let's let me present something. Oh, okay. I don't know what happened. I'm trying to figure this whole thing out here. Entire screen. Do that. All right. Here I am talking my way through it. Okay, so yes. So please, we've got, like I said, do we have a countdown clock on here at all? It says
no,
that
it's going to be noon PST tomorrow.
Yeah, 3 minutes to 3 minutes to noon tomorrow, because it's 1:57.
But it's noon
PM.
PST, so that means that it's going to be 3 hours earlier. So it's going to be
right. So it'll be 11:59 or not 11:59. Shoot,
about 7, like 7 in the morning, maybe. No, 8 in the morning. 8 in the morning. Yeah.
Well, so it says 1:57, right? So we subtract 2 hours from that, so it'll be 11:57 Central Standard Time. 12:57. No, I don't know. My brain. Never mind. Don't bother me. Like, or don't pay no attention to me.
Well, EST is still going to be 7 for
Anyway.
Central. It'll be 8, and I'm sorry.
I'll go with 1 day to go. It says
Whatever.
right here. So,
well, for me, it'll be like 3 in the afternoon. Then it'll be like 2, and then 1.
Yeah, that's true.
And then
back as early and back as often, please.
Right.
And,
Because I when I tried to launch my campaign, I was 3 hours early.
Oh man.
So
yeah,
that was a disaster. That was a disaster.
Well, you know, stuff happens. So I do. So I would be remiss. I've got a couple more campaigns to kind of showcase. Just I'm and I hope you'll indulge me here, Bunny. I don't know how much longer you have. Do you have somewhere you need to be or anything?
Not for 2 hours.
Not for 2 hours. Okay.
Gotta go.
Well, it won't be that long, I promise.
Okay.
So this is one that I don't shout out enough, but I definitely would like to. This is more of a storefront than a crowdfunding campaign. This is a product that is produced. I have several copies of this game that are new in shrink wrap, ready to ship. As soon as you back this project, you will receive your items. And so what it is it is a fun little kind of a very funny, fast-paced, as it says here, tongue-in-cheek, superhero-themed, customizable card game you can play with your whole family, and that's true. It's one that when you sit down to play it, you're going to probably overthink it and make it more complicated than it really is. It's just good old-fashioned fun. This right here, once you learn the rules, 2 to 4 players, you can play in 15 minutes, and it's 8+. So I mean, the rules are not heavy at all. Fun little game. If you want to just intro into the game, you can start with the little $20 the new recruits, which even though it's an expansion, it is a standalone. So you can start with this for only $20, or you can get the standard core set, which is basically double the amount that you get in this one for $30. Or you can do the deluxe. What I call the deluxe is where you add them both together and you get all those different heroes, and enough to basically, you could essentially play up to 6 players right out of the box, and just make a go of it for that amount. And it's $50 plus shipping. Like I said, I'm ready to pack it just as soon as the orders come in. I would say it's in demand, but it's just a product that's up for sale. And as soon as I run out of stock here, I can certainly ping my buddy and he'll send me some more stock so I can keep it moving. Or I could just have them drop ship from him, whichever. Right now we've got it worked out to where I retain a portion of the funds and I give him the rest of each purchase. So every backing of this goes towards helping me fund Chrome Dog. So I really would appreciate your patronage here on this one, folks. I know this is probably not the right space to talk about collectible card games, or this one's not even a collectible. It's just straight up kind of a board game style. Everything's in the box ready to play. And I'm pretty sure I've lost half of you guys. So good night, folks. Just kidding. Bunny's like, yeah, card games, whatever.
No, I mean, I'd like to play it. I don't have anybody to play it with.
Yeah.
I was thinking about getting it and seeing if I can get other people to get it and maybe do something on a stream sometime.
Well, dude, seriously. I mean, so I've got it. Jared Bricky has it. He actually backed me at the highest tier. And I hand delivered it to him because he lives not too far from me.
Okay.
Full disclosure. But yeah,
well, we can find like a couple other people.
Yeah.
Then maybe we could put together a live card game.
Heck yeah. I mean, yeah. And do you play any other card games, Bunny?
No. I missed the the card game craze. Magic Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah. I missed all those.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I mean, but yeah,
But I'm a pretty quick study though, so
sure, yeah. And playing via webcam, I mean, thanks to the
I do Uno. I did Uno.
Hey,
So
well, hey, Uno is good. I'm not sure how that would work via webcam, but but yeah. So yeah, back this one early, back it today. Pretty please, sugar on top, and yeah,
and that would be perfect for the comic community, just that particular game. So
yeah, and and that's what that's kind of what I was thinking. Not to mention, it's unless I'm completely mistaken, it's one of only two card games available on Fund My Comic right now. So
yeah, the other one's at
the
political one.
Yeah, I don't even know if he goes by Incel Riot anymore on here. Yeah, he does. Okay, yeah. It's Virtue Signal is what it's called.
Virtual Signal, yeah. That one seems like that wouldn't be a hoot. So yeah,
man, I tell you, this one is so politically incorrect. Oh man, and he's got a zombie side style game that he's got going too. That is just oh man, it's too hot for TV, man.
Well, sure. FMC's kind of like its home. That's where it belongs. So
yeah, I love it. I do. I love it.
They've been canceled off every major crowdfunding platform.
Yeah, one, I love to see it, and two, I hate to see it because I want to see. That's the thing, right? Freedom of association, freedom of speech. We should be able to poke fun at the things that are funny, or the things that don't quite seem right. We should, be allowed to say what we need to say.
Well, I mean, the other, there's like an expansion from like the MAGA people, so it's weird that they've canceled that one. You'd think they'd be up over the moon. They'd push that one. So,
and what is it? Which one?
They had one for the SJWs, but then the expansion pack covered the MAGA side of it, and then that expansion pack covering the communist side of it. So.
Oh yeah, it's okay to mock the one side, but you better not mock the other.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out why when I go to search this, or when I go to search Chrome Dog, the word Chrome. Oh, holochrome virgin variant. Okay, that makes sense. Because every time I go to search it, it pops up. And I'm like, why? What does Chrome have to do with this thing? But okay, that makes sense. Anyway. All right, so back over here to my book called Chrome Dog, Perfect Strangers. We've got an aggregated amount from Indiegogo. Certainly not trying to I'm not trying to obfuscate anything. Definitely want to be fully transparent here. Look, so essentially I got 88 backers over on Indiegogo before shutting down that campaign, coming over here. And I essentially did that because, talk about Peter down to nothing. I was getting more backers here, on a weekly basis where Indiegogo had 0. So I was like,
you was probably shadow banned on Indiegogo.
No, believe it or not, I was never shadow banned over there. I guess, but again, I didn't go out there and busk. I wasn't being a carnival barker. I'm a terrible carnival barker. If you guys can't tell.
I'm probably worse than you.
Oh man,
I really suck at it.
But here's maybe that's one of the reasons my character, like one of my characters in this book, is Bad Clown, because I'm just so bad at anything having to do with carnivals. But I'm definitely enthralled by them. So, and you'll see the imagery throughout these books, especially with him working in an amusement park. It's kind of fun. So yeah, Chrome Dog, Perfect Strangers. That's Chrome Dog issue number 1. It's the part 1 of a three issue arc, planned, a 3 issue planned arc. And so we've got all these wonderful rewards. I'm just going to kind of blow through this for just a little bit here. This one is you can choose which issue you want. I kind of decided to make a different reward and remove the original to kind of give people a choice here and have a lower amount for shipping, because I was able to figure out how to do shipping better for the international customers. Here you can save by buying both, plus you get the shipping. And then, so right now I've only got a handful of rewards. The reason I'm bringing this up is in the coming weeks, I'm looking forward to Luke Stone finally finishing there's a 2-page, there's a double-page spread that he's doing for this book, and we're actually going to be selling the original art. So he's going to be doing it physically. He's going to do a physical version, and we're going to sell. We're going to make that a part of the rewards here, and so it'll be a one and done piece. So you can actually own a piece of history with Chrome Dog #1. So
right.
And it's, and it'll be at that point that hopefully I'll have more pages that are already colored, potentially, lettered, even though that's not important at this stage. But then I can kind of, I've got ideas to make a new trailer and different things to kind of, generate some more hype as we get closer to fulfillment time, which I've allowed myself to the end of October. Hopefully it won't take that long, but it's probably going to take every bit of that time because of everybody's schedules. Both, Luke working on everything he's working on. Now we've got Eric Weathers, which is my letterer. He's got his own campaign that he's working on. So trying to fit it all in. Plus in this, we've got several different books associated with it. We've got the Arrow Bundle #2, Arrow Bundle #1. The #1, all these issues are ready to go, ready to ship. No Chrome Dog associated with it in the Arrow Bundle 1. Arrow Bundle 2 does have Chrome Dog, but there's some other issues in here that I know have not seen print yet. I think The Fool has gone to print. I'm not sure if it's done yet. Soul Tack #1, I think that's done. But this issue of Revolt, I'm not sure if that's complete yet either. So it's kind of, some of this stuff is kind of contingent. So that's why I pushed fulfillment off so far. But long and short, if you want to get in, you can get in on this and be able to get your issue of Chrome Dog with the Luke, the cover A Luke Stone cover with all the, what do you call it? I don't know why I always mess that up. Stretch goals. So you get the stretch goals there, and then, or you can do the Arrow Bundle #1. So this is 6 comics for one low price, $40 plus shipping. This one's 8 comics for $50 plus shipping. And then this one, I decided to put them both together, make this big mega bundle, Sector Saver C, Arrow mega bundle, $90 plus shipping. You get 14 comics plus the physical stretch goals. And as you can see here, we got one person backing, potentially if we can get, we can get another backer, that'll be even more, we'll be closer to our next stretch goal at $5,000. I've got an artist on the hook, or I should say an artist on the line to make a Wally the Wolf sticker for us. So I'll that'll be sent out as a physical stretch goal. I haven't set a dollar amount, but we've got the next stretch goal after that is going to be the Seether sticker. Seether is the big baddie that Chrome Dog is fighting in this wonderful Lepresti cover variant. And so yeah, we got that coming down the pike, and then potentially if we can reach this dollar amount, this big unannounced dollar amount, potentially I'll have a Chrome Dog challenge coin created, so, or struck as they say. But that's a pretty high dollar amount, so we'll see if we can get there. But in the meantime, you got all 10 pages right here. You can scroll and read and check out what's happening in the first third of this book, or you can click the preview Ashcan PDF download to just download it and read it at your leisure. But yeah, I mean, that's Chrome Dog, a big hard sale, I guess. But
there you go.
Well, I do want to get back into a little bit of conversation if you got the time.
Sure.
So we talked a little bit about how, yeah, I don't know. There we go. We talked a little bit about crowdfunding. Right? So let's now kind of turn our attention to what's okay. Navigating so many screens. Okay. Let's turn our attention to modern media, right?
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's movies, TV shows, modern comic books with from the mainstream. One thing that I'm kind of tired of is this idea of these companies wanting to subvert our expectations. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, when you subvert expectations so much that people assume that you're going to subvert their expectations, then you're no longer subverting their expectations. You're just being obnoxious. And so everybody expects it now. So the only reason to do it is just to be, to destroy something that didn't belong to you and that you didn't create. And so
give me, can you think of an example? I want to hear the hard and fast, I'm as mad as hell kind of feeling that you have, Bunny. Of one example that just really grabbed your goat and has really turned you off. And it doesn't matter if it's a movie, comic book, like something that you digested and was like, oh, this is terrible, where they did just that. They tried to subvert your expectations, but ultimately insulted you.
Well, I think I don't really consume a lot of media anymore, but I see these things like hit the screen. I see like reviews of stuff and things like that. One would be the remake of Snow White. You expect someone called Snow White to be frickin' Snow White. Don't expect it to be half Colombian, half Polish chick who has absolutely no class and no sense of responsibility huge gigantic sense of entitlement.
True, but let's so insufferability aside, right? Phoebe Waller-Bridge would definitely fit that mold as well. But no,
doing the Indiana Jones where Indiana Jones is not even the chief character,
right?
Is not even doesn't have any impetus in the whole entire movie.
Well, let's kind of dial it in just a little bit though, Bunny, because like when it's at whatever point, did you ever find yourself when you were consuming media? Did you ever find yourself watching a movie and you're like, wait a minute, that was a dig at me? Did you ever feel that way?
Well, there towards the end of my consumption, yeah, I felt it all the time.
Can you point? Do you remember a specific example?
Well, the most memorable one from recent pop culture history has got to be The Last Jedi.
Okay.
So that's low hanging fruit at this point. But
so what was it that did it for you? Like what really sticks in? What is the stick in your craw from that? Just out of curiosity, if you can remember or recall.
Well, I mean, it's pretty memorable. I mean, when you're like, oh, remember this hero you had? Remember this hero that you followed for three films, and that inspired you to be a man and to take responsibility and to stand up to temptation. And remember that guy? Well, right. He's a homeless hobo that is now drinking green titty milk and throwing away lightsabers. Okay. Yeah. Do you remember that guy? Yeah, the guy that was that big Luke Skywalker guy that everybody respected. Remember him? Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, this guy, this is him. See him? Yeah. And oh, by the way, the chick that just in the last movie just picked up a lightsaber and suddenly beat a Jedi is supposed to be a Jedi master. Yeah, she's gonna kick Luke's butt too because she's just that damn good and that damn perfect and that damn awesome at everything. but love her because she's got ovaries.
Oh,
You have to love her.
snap.
So, because ovaries
Yeah.
makes you a supreme being. Oh, by the way, you could stab a chick with ovaries with a lightsaber, and she's going to recover by the very next episode. Yeah.
Okay.
It's happened 3 times. It's happened 3 times in recent years. So
Dang.
evidently, ovaries protect you from lightsabers.
I guess we finally struck that, found that nerve of yours there, Bunny.
Well, yeah. Asked and answered. There you go.
So for me, man,
I'm sorry,
okay.
but a
Yeah.
woman who's about 98 pounds soaking wet cannot kick a 300-pound man through a window. Okay, this is not going to happen, Hollywood. Okay, I'm sorry, unless she's got superpowers, and she is not going to kick somebody through a window. I don't care if she's got Scarlett Johansson's legs. She's not going to do that. Okay, so get over it. Men are not women, and women are not men. They're just not. They're not physically strong enough. Okay, except for China, but China was a completely misnomer and never to be repeated.
So everyone out there, when he says China, he's talking about the pro wrestler, I imagine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Not the country.
But even she was propped up by the male counterparts that were doing kayfabe with her.
Sure. I mean, that's what.
If it was a legitimate, it was a legitimate physical fight, absolutely, she wouldn't have stood a chance. So.
Absolutely. So, well, yeah. So thank you for sharing. So I think for me, man. So I think the original subversion of my expectations. The first time I really noticed it was, I want to say it was Batman and Robin. It goes back that far because, and I'm gonna bring up another one. It's a lot more recent, but in Batman and Robin, there's 2 expectations that I had. Well, 3 really, but it just. There's so much laziness going on in those 2 movies. They wanted to make it, so different. I don't know. I don't know what Joel Schumacher was thinking when he directed those in the way that he did. But by those 2 movies, I'm referring to Batman Forever as well as Batman and Robin. But in Batman and Robin, the first, the glaring subversion of my expectation had to do with Barbara Gordon, right? Being instead of being the commissioner's daughter, and so Barbara Gordon, or Batgirl in there, I don't even know if they said her last name was Gordon. I think it was just Barbara, right? But she was that Batgirl was actually Alfred's niece. Okay, why? Why did we need to do that? Because as far as I remember, Pat Hingle was in that movie, so we had the original. By Pat Hingle, that's the actor that played Commissioner Gordon in all the other Batman movies. Let's see. Did we see Commissioner Gordon in Batman Returns? I think we did. Mm-hmm. So if we did, then yeah, we had the same cast for Commissioner Gordon and Alfred Pennyworth in all 4 movies, produced it around the time. Mm-hmm. So they could have easily written her as who she is, which is his daughter. Like, there's no need to do this weird sub story with Alfred having a niece named Barbara who would turn into Batgirl. Because it's kind of like, where's the motivation there, right? That was one expectation subverted. Thank you, Joel Schumacher. May you rest in peace. And then, so the second one was Mr. Freeze, right? So, like, when I thought of Mr. Freeze from the Batman animated series, which, that was really my introduction to him. Whether or not he existed before that show, I don't know if he did.
Yeah, he did.
I just know that from what I understand, it was Mike Mignola. I can't even say it, Mignola, who did the character design for the way he was presented in the animated series. That's what I was expecting for Mr. Freeze. But what I got was Arnold Schwarzenegger, which interesting take, but not what I expected. So my expectations were subverted there. And then third was kind of an aside. It was again laziness, but seeing Bane be this scrawny, scrawny prisoner that got pumped full of a bunch of venom to turn him into this big hulking, mindless minion of Poison Ivy. That was yet another expectation that got subverted. And we're not even going to talk about the nipples or the butts in the costumes, because I never had those expectations, and yet it happened. So, so with that, I guess, after that we get to X-Men, and I had problems with that movie. And so I guess you could say that I've always had a problem with live action depictions of, classically, comic properties, because it feels like every time they make the jump to live action, that someone has to put their own little spin on it and to change things in a way that makes it uncharacteristic of how it was presented in the comic books. Usually it had to do with origin stories. They had to mix things up. Like, for example, in X-Men, I expected Wolverine to wear yellow, and all we got was a cheeky little comment about it from Cyclops saying, "What were you expecting? Yellow spandex?" So it's like, but fast forward to I think the last time, or I can remember a more recent example where I felt insulted as a fan, like actually insulted. I took my kids to see in the movie theater. I took them to see Lego Batman, the Lego Batman movie, right? And I was insulted in that movie because here I was, a Batman fan, and this movie, like, by extension, the entire film, it pokes fun at Batman, and by extension, those of us who like Batman or who have been fans of Batman. And so I felt like they were reaching through the silver screen at me and like shaking me and saying, I can't believe you like this guy, right? And so, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, whether there was any kind of agenda behind any of that stuff beyond just people wanting to do their own creative spin or poke fun, this and that, we fast forward to today where, I'm not even interested, Yeah, I watched Batman, or The Batman, with Robert Pattinson.
I have yet to see it.
Hey, it was good. Too long. That's,
Mm-hmm.
But I could say the same for each one of the Christopher Nolan movies.
I don't know. I think Dark Knight Returns, or Dark Knight was
Rises,
just about perfect. No. Well, Dark Knight, the middle one.
Yeah,
I think that one's perfect.
That's true. Yeah, the third one was definitely too long. And they made Gotham City feel like Philadelphia, which I'm pretty sure was where it was filmed.
Mm-hmm.
It was too sunny. Gotham does not. Come on, man. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
no. But regardless, I don't not like those three films. They've actually grown on me the more I've watched them. I can understand why the choices were made the way they were. I can appreciate them for what they are, but at the end of the day, they're not comic book movies. The one thing that I do appreciate is that Batman's he's not trying to kill people. I say he's not trying to kill people because there is collateral damage when you have mounted machine guns on your Batmobile. But thank you, Frank Miller. But I don't want to go too far into that. But I think that does kind of get me to my bigger point here, is that at what point do we let these creative people take what has already been established as a character and subvert it to the point where you have Batman become a homicidal maniac, like we found in the Dark Knight Dark Knight Returns with Frank Miller's take, right?
Mhm.
He goes from being someone that's like Daredevil, seeking not to kill people, to being one that's like, you know what, I'm tired of that. I'm tired of taking the moral high ground. I'm gonna go ahead and just start off.
Well, actually, he didn't kill a lot of people in Dark Knight Returns. As a matter of fact, Joker killed himself, and basically said that they'll never know that you didn't have the guts to kill me. So he didn't even kill Joker in that one. So he did a lot of damage to people. I mean, he definitely did a lot of damage to people, but he didn't kill anybody.
I thought he was killing. I thought he killed some of the criminals that he was like beating up or whatever. Because he was an old man, right?
No, I mean he should have. I mean, those mutants they just needed to die, but he didn't.
Okay. Well,
so, mutants are irredeemable. Just should have killed them off. But
see that how politically incorrect, Bunny.
Mm-hmm.
Mutants should live. They deserve to live a good life too. Just ask Judge Dredd.
Not the ones from the Dark Knight Returns.
No, you're right. But okay, so with that, let's look at what they've done with him in the films, right? So what did you think? Did you watch Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice?
Yes, I did.
What did you think of Batman branding people with the bat?
I didn't really have that much of a problem with it, to be honest. They got that from Moon Knight. Moon Knight would brand people with the crescent, the crescent. So
really,
yeah, one of the later iterations. So that's probably where they got that from. But yeah, I didn't really have too much of a problem with that. But
is that not? I mean, that's not too sadistic for you.
No. It when you look at that particular iteration of Batman, it didn't seem too extreme. The Batfleck was a pretty intense individual. But he's though they pretty much established that he was someone that felt like he was fighting a losing battle, and it was pretty much at his back against the wall. So that's pretty much the portrayal of the Batman. So this is not somebody with a lot of, shall we say, milk of love and kindness in him.
True.
So
true. Yeah, I'm starting to kind of learn that. I guess about him. Maybe I've had a Johnny Appleseed or apple pie, or I should say pie in the sky kind of feeling about him.
Well, I mean, there's no doubt that he probably killed some people when he was saving Martha. I mean, there's no doubt he probably killed some people then. So when they strafed the warehouse that they were in. So
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, and that's to become fatalistic, which that's another thing. I need to write that down so I can talk about it. I'll probably write about it. Do you remember in Batman with Michael Keaton?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I don't want to lose it. What was it? So there's in film, there's in some of the studios, and I need to go back and do some of the history on this, but some of the film studios had a particular formula. Whenever they would tell a story, the villain would always essentially get to the point where, when you had a bad villain, the villain would have to die by the end of the movie. That's kind of like the formula of it. They didn't produce films that didn't have the bad guy that's actually done the killing not face death himself, right? So there was a certain justification in that. And I want to say it was Warner Brothers specifically who had that as a what's the word? like a prerequisite for the way that they produced films, and for the longest time. And so you had in Batman, that's why the Joker had to die, because the Joker was, he was a killer unabashedly, right? He unashamed. He didn't care. He was perfectly content to gas an entire city, right? And shoot his right hand man in the face. And so, he had to die. And so that's why, we see him fall like he does. And Batman pretty much forces the hand of him to fall, even though the argument can be made that Batman was just trying to prevent him from escaping. I'm sure Batman is not an idiot. He would have known that the gargoyle was going to, be the end of the Joker. And then you could say the same extends into Batman Returns when, the Penguin has to die because he kills people unabashedly. And him and his cronies in their little, evil circus. So the thing is, like, every time Batman had a movie for, and a lot of times he ran out of his rogues gallery because they were dying every time, rather than putting them in Arkham like we saw in the comic book so that they could come back again. They just kept killing them. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that the first Batman series was could not survive Tim Burton, losing Tim Burton. So the first two movies were very solid, but I mean, there's some some standout performances and things like that, but like Catwoman may or may not have died. We don't know for sure if she did or didn't.
Well, I mean, at the end, she is looking up at the moon, so at least we get that. So, at the end of Batman Returns. So,
okay, there must have been an extended scene because I never saw that one.
Yeah, it was right there at the end, as right before the credits roll. You get to see her. It kind of does a similar thing as how the end of the first Batman movie ends, but this time it kind of shows her, the back of her head looking up at the moon, in her head, like is in. I can't remember if it's in the moon or she's just looking up at the moon, and so that she lives.
Okay.
So Selena Kyle,
I didn't know that it was ever established, so
Yeah. It was kind of mysteriously established because and it was based like right there at the end. I want to say, so Bruce Wayne is being driven away by Alfred, and they have this conversation with each other as they're going down going down like a side street or whatever, and then the camera kind of pans up and comes all the way up to like to where you see the moon, and then you can see Catwoman's the back of her head looking up at the moon. So like that part, it was a nice succinct second film. I mean, they left it in a good spot. They probably should have not even needed to make any other movies after that.
No.
One little piece of trivia I want to point out when we get to talking about Batman Returns is that Annette Bening was supposed to play Catwoman, but she was pregnant, so she couldn't. And so they got Michelle Pfeiffer to play Catwoman. And also Sean Young really wanted to play Catwoman so much and laid it on so thick that like they were never going to cast her, but she became so obsessed. There's even a documentary about it out there for you folks to kind of check out. So, but anyway, go ahead, Bunny.
Oh, I don't really have anything to comment to that. I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
I think I heard about the Sean Young thing, but
yeah. Annette Bening. I wonder what the movie would have been like with her as Catwoman.
I don't think it would have been as good because Michelle Pfeiffer had this fragility about her.
Yeah.
All her roles that she played always had this little bit of is she going to stay sane the whole entire movie kind of feeling about it. So for her to like go off the deep end like that was and find herself. It just, I don't think any other actress at that point in time could have played that. Not the way she played it. Plus, she worked so hard on that role. I mean, all that whip stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, she spent months learning to use the whip. And what you saw when she knocked the heads off the mannequins, that was one take.
Real, wasn't it? Yeah.
That was real. That was one take.
It's so cool.
And then then she did like I've seen like behind the scenes footage where she walks in there, does the what, and she actually hit her face a couple times, when she was learning to do that. And so she really sacrificed to it. And plus she was in the best shape of her life, and she also learned some martial arts and some things. I mean, she really, really immersed herself in that role, and and I think she will forevermore be most people's Catwoman. So, outside of the original series and stuff like that.
Man, all this talk about it makes me want to go back and watch it.
Well,
oh, man.
The best scene, I think, is when her and Bruce Wayne are like dancing on the floor, and he said she says the mistletoe can be deadly if you eat it, and then he said and a kiss is even deadlier if you mean it.
Yeah.
And he looked at her, and she looked
at
him,
each other, and she's like,
and she says, "Oh God, do we have to fight now?"
Yeah.
And it was brilliant.
Oh yeah,
it was brilliant.
It was great.
She had this like look on her face, like she's like, I don't want to fight you, but is this were we supposed to? Is this the way we're supposed to do? And it was just the perfect couple. I mean, they were like so perfect for each other.
And the song, they chose that Susie's and the Banshee song that was so good. Oh man, I had that soundtrack on cassette tape, and I would play it over and over and over. Danny Elfman, people can say what they want about him, but he nailed those two. The score for the first one and that one.
What Prince didn't do,
right? The score, because that was the thing. The first movie definitely had two soundtracks. It had the score, which was all Danny Elfman stuff in the background, and then of course Prince with all his different songs that were pretty daggone racy and wild, but that was fun too. I like Prince. I certainly miss him. I'm one of those people that miss him.
I tell you the truth, he's grown on me. I never saw the halftime show until like recently, and that was brilliant. I mean, it's the greatest. I put it up there with Freddie Mercury and Live Aid.
Well, that was that, but people, to put it in perspective, folks, if memory serves.
Mm-hmm.
They got Prince to do that halftime show the year after the wardrobe malfunction with Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake, and so he played the heck out of that show, and then he got his guitar going, and he had the light behind the sheet, and it made it look like a big boner.
Yeah.
And I thought that there was a level of brilliance there, but at the same, I mean, on the one hand, right, visually, but man, musically, I mean, he was on top of his game in that.
Well, when they called his hotel room and told him that there's going to be a storm coming in, and that did he want to cancel, and he's like, I just have one request: can you make it rain harder?
Yeah,
and
there'll only ever be one Prince, man.
There will only be one, But I didn't know that he evidently later he told somebody that he broke down crying during the Purple Rain. You go back and watch it, and there's a couple times where he's wiping his face, and you're like, oh, he's just wiping it because there's rain in it. But evidently those were tears, because he had 100,000 people singing his music back to him, and it's like you don't get validation like that in this lifetime, really.
Nope.
So,
and the other thing too, I believe back then that was him after he'd become the artist, right? And there's a whole story with that.
He just taken the name back.
Oh, right.
Like
okay.
the previous year, because all he did,
Right.
he did it to break his contract with Time Warner.
Yep.
And they finally released him, but his he tanked his sales so much that they finally released him. Yep. And he took the name back. So,
well, that's let that be an inspiration for us all to deny those horrible corpo contracts. Stay independent as long as possible, because we can do big things out here in the indie field. So I don't know, I guess we've been going at this for almost 2 hours. I definitely appreciate you coming on, Bunny. This has been thought-provoking for sure.
No problem.
Way better than me meandering and doing my not knowing what to say. Conversations are much easier.
No problem. If there's anybody left, make sure you catch Nerd Bacon tonight. Nerdcap.
Yeah, Nerdcap. Yep. Nerd Bacon is on Thursday mornings.
Nerd Bacon's Thursday mornings. Yeah.
Nerd tonight. Not to mention, I will say, since you say that, I'll tell you what. I'll see if I can throw his YouTube in the chat, even though I don't know if it's going to save for the people that watch. But yeah, Luke Stone is going to do. I think.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's going to do a closeout of 03.
Yes. Yeah. Out of Obscurity, otherwise known as 03. But he, so hopefully he's going to make it to where people can actually like go and watch this one after the fact, because I know he's put the rewatch behind a paywall. So
I guess it depends on how many people behave themselves.
Right. Well, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
And if he can restrain himself from causing issues. So
yeah, well, anyway. There's probably going to be wiener jokes, so we'll see.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, I try not to have that. Doug Bacon's like, Nerd Bacon? Yeah, Nerd Bacon on Thursdays. It's during the day on Luke Stone Studios YouTube channel. I don't know. I'm trying to remember if you've been there before, Duck. I think you may have popped in a time or two. I could be thinking of somebody else. But yeah, Nerd Bacon.
There's the link in private chat.
The link to. Oh, for the Nerdcap. Yeah, I've got it. I got it in the main chat for everybody.
Okay.
But yeah, appreciate that, Bunny. Fantastic.
No problem.
Well, this has been great. Like I said, everybody check out in the pinned comment. It should still be pinned at the top. Out of Obscurity. Click it, back it, because you've got less than 24 hours to help get this thing over the $2,400 mark for us to be able to get another story in there written by the quickly becoming famous Randy Zimmerman, the voice and main proponent of Arrow Comics. So, and this is an Arrow Comics property. That's another thing, or I should say, is it a property though? Because we're all independent. I guess the anthologies technically would be Arrow Comics in a sense.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, thank you, Bunny. Thanks for coming on tonight. Thank you, wonderful chat. You guys have been very well behaved, very quiet today. Either, hey, Duck, I see you there. Thanks, Duck Bacon. But yeah, I need to put some more stuff in my or the little videos or whatever to kind of like show us out. But yeah. So as I always say. Until next time, enjoy our wild America.